Welcome to the Alison Howard podcast, where high-achieving women elevate their identity, expand what's possible, and create a life of true abundance. I'm Alison Howard. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast, or if you're watching me on YouTube, hi, I'm Alison Howard. And okay, today's episode is going to be fun and maybe a little controversial. But honestly, I think this conversation needs to happen because there are so many women right now who are just hungry for change. They want more peace. They want more abundance, financial and otherwise. They want to feel more alignment in their lives, like they are living out their God-ordained purpose. They, want more purpose. They want more joy. They want more freedom. But the second that they hear the word manifestation, they either think it sounds weird or fluffy or fake or completely disconnected from God. And at the same time, these same women are accidentally manifesting fear every single day. They are expecting things to go wrong. They're expecting rejection. They're expecting struggle. They're expecting disappointment. They're expecting failure. They're expecting things to just never work out for them. So today, I want to bridge these two worlds together in a really practical, faith-rooted way because manifestation is not magic, okay? It's not witchcraft. It's not playing God. It's not sitting in your living room whispering affirmations while, Amazon packages fall from the ceiling fan. That's not what we're doing. Manifestation at its core is about alignment. It's about belief. It's about expectation. It's about your identity. It's about what you're focusing on, your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, and your faith. And biblically, these principles are everywhere. So today we're going to unpack all of it in a way that, like I said, feels really practical. It feels very empowering for you. And honestly, I think this is going to be very freeing for a lot of women. So I want you to walk away from this episode realizing, oh my gosh, I have way more creative power in my life than I thought. So, the first thing that I want you to understand as we begin this conversation is that you are already manifesting. Manifesting means to make real, to take something that is in your imagination and to make it real. Thoughts becoming things. And you're already doing it right now, every single day. The question is, what are you repeatedly expecting, believing, rehearsing, and emotionally identifying with? Because your life tends to move in the direction of your most dominant thoughts and expectations. If you expect rejection, you will often interpret life through rejection. If you expect struggle, your nervous system is going to organize around struggle. If you expect opportunities and growth and favor and possibility, you begin moving differently. And this isn't magically, this is differently. And that matters. Proverbs 23:7 says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so he is." Not just what he says occasionally, what he thinks in his heart, meaning what is deeply believed, what is repeated, what is accepted internally. And I think that's very powerful. That is really powerful because many women are trying to create a different external reality while internally rehearsing the exact same fears every single day. And then they wonder why nothing changes. So, this part right here is really what changed my life. Fear is faith in the wrong direction. Maybe write that down and stick it on your fridge, okay? Fear is faith in the wrong direction. Think about it. Fear is still expectation. It's still imagination. You're imagining worst case scenarios rooted in fear. It's still an emotional focus. You're simply expecting what you don't want instead of what you do want. And so many women are incredibly powerful creators. They're just creating from a posture of fear. They rehearse their worst case scenarios. What if it doesn't work? What if nobody buys? What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I outgrow everyone? What if I invest and nothing happens? And so their body starts responding as though those outcomes are already happening. Now, compare that to faith. Biblical faith is not passive wishing. Faith is expectation. Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That means faith comes before physical evidence, not after. This is where so many women get stuck. Maybe you've gotten stuck here too. Women are waiting for proof before they allow themselves to believe. But biblically, belief precedes the breakthrough. Almost all the time in scripture, belief precedes the breakthrough and the miracle. You see this over and over again in scripture. Jesus constantly said things like, according to your faith, let it be done. Not according to your fear, not according to your overthinking, not according to how many backup plans you made because you panicked at 1 a.m., according to your faith. And this is huge. Okay, now let's make this super practical because I know some women are probably listening and thinking, okay, Allison, but why isn't my life changing yet? And here's one reason: because your subconscious mind and your nervous system are still organized around the old reality. You may consciously want growth, consciously, but subconsciously, you still identify with limitation and lack. This is why someone can say, I want more money. And then simultaneously, they're undercharging, they're hiding online, they are fearing being visible, they're doubting themselves constantly, they expect failure, and they're emotionally bracing for disappointment. That is an internal conflict. And internal conflict slows things down. Even if you want more money, if you're operating in all of those other ways, things will be for you. And one of the biggest things I help women with in coaching and inside of my community is resolving that internal conflict so that their thoughts and their emotions and their identity and their actions start moving in the same direction. Because once a woman becomes internally congruent, things move fast. Okay. So I had a client, this was a while ago. She was desperately wanting to grow her business and she was extremely talented. She was hardworking. She was very smart. She was a beautiful person, just genuinely gifted. But every time she launched something, her entire emotional energy was, well, this probably won't work. So this wasn't intentional. This was subconscious. She expected disappointment. So every launch became very emotionally heavy and draining for her, way overcomplicated, very stress filled. And she had this energy of like desperation, and her audience could feel it because people feel your energy before they buy your offer. So eventually we realized that she did not have a strategy problem, and they almost always never do. She had an expectation problem. She had trained herself to emotionally rehearse disappointment before anything had ever happened. So we started shifting her identity. What we worked on was self image. We worked on regulating her nervous system so that she could embrace feeling calm and feeling peace. We worked on her expectations. We worked on embodiment. And we worked on subconscious beliefs around visibility and receiving. And she stopped showing up like somebody waiting to fail. She started showing up like someone expecting expansion and growth. And that's what happened. And that changed everything. Not overnight, but over the course of a few months. And it was dramatic. It was a dramatic change. She's a completely different person now and she's killing it in her business. So let's talk about something else. Your words matter. I really want you to hear me when I say this. Your words matter so much. In Proverbs 18:21, it says that death and life are in the power of the tongue. And so listen, I know some people hear this and immediately think, so I can never say anything negative ever again? No. Okay, please relax. You are allowed to have human emotions. You are allowed to process difficult moments. This is not about like toxic positivity. We are not doing that here. But this is about becoming aware of what you repeatedly declare over yourself, what you repeatedly reinforce, what you repeatedly identify with. Because many women speak limitation and lack over themselves constantly. They say things like, nothing ever works for me, or I'm always behind, or I can never get ahead, or I'm terrible with money, or I hate sales, I'm bad at sales, or I'm just not disciplined, or I always self sabotage. Okay, at some point, your subconscious begins treating those statements like instructions. Your mind listens to what you say repeatedly. So does your nervous system. This is why intentional language matters, not fake language, intentional language. You probably have seen on YouTube or the reels going around of an experiment between two plants, two living plants, right? House plants, like I have behind me. One houseplant was spoken really poorly to. Negative, mean words were spoken to it all the time. And the other houseplant was spoken love and encouragement and happy, kind words. And the houseplant that was spoken negatively withered within a week. And we're doing this to ourselves constantly. Please, please stop. Okay. Now I'm going to take a little pivot here and I'm going to talk to you about something entirely different, but it's so, so important. We're going to talk about energy and frequency for a second because I know some Christian women get really nervous here because I used to. But honestly, you already understand energy intuitively. This is something that God has equipped you to understand. For example, you walk into a room and you immediately feel someone's vibe before they even speak, right? You know when someone feels heavy or anxious or calm or magnetic or joyful or draining or peaceful or desperate or confident. You can feel that before they ever even say a word. That is energy. Everything is in motion. Everything carries frequency. Even scientifically, nothing is at rest. So, does this mean that you become a magical, wizard floating around manifesting parking spaces with moon water? No, please. We're not doing any of that here. What I mean is this: your internal state affects how you show up. And how you show up affects everything else in your life. It affects your decisions. It affects your consistency, your confidence, your communication. It affects your leadership, your relationships, your business. A woman operating from desperation, she moves way differently than a woman operating from confidence and trust. People can feel that. That is energy, everything in motion. Your audience feels that. If you're building a business and you have an audience on social media, they can feel your energy through your reels, through your lives, through your stories. They feel all of it. Your children feel that. Your spouse feels that. You feel that. Okay. So, how do you actually apply this? How do you apply all of this to your life? I'm going to make this simple. Number one, I want you to start paying attention to your dominant thoughts. Your life is moving in the direction of your most dominant thoughts. So, what are you emotionally rehearsing all day long? Because repetition matters. Number two, stop partnering with fear and lack constantly. You do not need to obsessively rehearse worst case scenarios in your life. You can interrupt that pattern. Number three, I want you to begin to visualize differently. God gave you your imagination. We are God's highest form of creation, and He gave us these higher faculties that animals just don't have. We have imagination. So begin visualizing yourself differently. See yourself succeeding. See yourself handling the opportunity well. See yourself becoming the woman capable of holding the thing that you desire. Number four, I want you to regulate your nervous system. Your body cannot hold growth. Your body cannot hold expansion, so more money, more responsibility, while it feels unsafe. And if you're constantly feeling unsafe, you've got to regulate your nervous system. Peace matters. And number five, align your actions with your desires. If you say that you want to be more visible on social media, you have to stop hiding. This is misalignment. If you say that you want growth in your business, but you emotionally rehearse failure constantly, there is a conflict there. Your thoughts, your emotions, your identity, and your actions begin creating power when they align. So I had another client and she really wanted more income. She wanted to grow her business. She wanted to be making five-figure months, but subconsciously she believed that more money would make her selfish, that even wanting more money in her business made her selfish, that it would be stressful to have more money in her life, that she would feel disconnected from her family if she was the one making more money. So every time she started to make more money, she would unconsciously create chaos around that. She would procrastinate, she would overcommit, she would undercharge again, and then she would just get to this place of like emotional burnout. She would just crash out. So, of course, we uncovered the real issue. She did not feel safe receiving more. And so we shifted that. And once we shifted that, it all changed. Everything in her life changed. Everything in her business changed. She stopped treating success like danger. She stopped apologizing for wanting more for her life, for her kids' lives. She stopped acting guilty for her ambition. And her business started to grow very quickly after that because her internal world finally matched what she wanted externally. As within, so without, law of cause and effect. This is the part that I really want you to walk away with today because you are more powerful than you think. I want you to really hear that. You are more powerful than you think. You are a co creator with God. God has made you to co create in your life. And it's not because you control every circumstance. We know that you're not in control of everything. And it's not because life is going to suddenly start to become perfect, but it's because your inner world, your thoughts and your beliefs, what you care about, your desires, all of that matters profoundly. Your thoughts matter, friend. I want you to hear me. Your expectations matter. Your beliefs matter. Your identity, who you believe yourself to be, matters. Your emotional patterns matter. Most women are living far below what is possible for them because they are emotionally loyal to fear. They are emotionally loyal to limitation and to their old identity patterns. And honestly, I don't want that for you. I want you to realize that your dreams are not random. God has placed those dreams in your heart for a reason and for a purpose. Your desires are not accidental. Your vision matters. The dreams that you hold behind your eyes, you can hold in your hands. Your life can change. You can become somebody entirely different. I have seen it happen time and time again. And no, this stuff does not happen overnight, but it absolutely can happen, and it can happen very, very quickly. So let me leave you with a few takeaways. First, manifestation, believing in the power of manifestation, this is not magic. It's alignment. It's expectation. It's belief. It's identity and action. It's all those things working together. It's taking what's in your imagination, what's in your thoughts, the things that you see behind your eyes, and it's making it real. That is what manifestation is. Okay, second, fear is faith in the wrong direction. What you repeatedly expect matters. What you repeatedly expect to happen in your life matters. Third, your subconscious and your nervous system influence what you allow yourself to hold in your life. The fourth thing I want you to walk away with today is that your words and your emotional rehearsals shape your internal reality. Your words that you speak to yourself, that you speak out loud, and your emotional rehearsals, what you're just rehearsing over and over again, they shape your internal reality. And fifth, you are not powerless. You have far more influence over your life than you realize. You are not a victim. You can be the victor in your life in so many different ways as you partner with God. Okay. So if this episode is just hitting, if it's just like exactly what you needed to hear today, and you're ready to go deeper into this work, into your identity and rewiring your subconscious, into understanding embodiment and your emotional patterns, your self concept, if you are somebody who is wanting to grow your life or your business and you keep feeling stuck. You keep feeling like, man, I just cannot get past this place that I'm at right now, and I am really wanting to grow and elevate. Creating real transformation from the inside out is what I love to help people do, and I want to invite you into my private community called the Inner Shift Society. This is my community. I love it so much. And this is where women are learning how to stop living from fear and lack and limitation and start becoming the woman that they know that they're meant to be, the woman that God created them to be. And inside, we have deeper conversations like this every single week. You can join us in the link in the show notes or below the video. And if you know that you're wanting more personalized support, I do take on a limited amount of one-on-one clients every single month. But the most important thing is that you stop trying to do this alone. We're better together. So find yourself a community. If not mine, find another one, but I would love to welcome you in. So I want to leave you with this. Your life is not changing only because of what you do. It is changing because of who you repeatedly believe yourself to be. So stop rehearsing limitations, stop rehearsing fear, stop treating your future and the dreams that you have like they're unavailable to you because they absolutely are not. You were created with vision. You were created with imagination and creativity of your own and the ability to grow and expand and lead and transform and impact the lives of others in significant ways. So do not underestimate what can happen when your thoughts and your identity and your faith and your beliefs and your emotions and your actions finally begin to move in the same direction. All right. Well, thank you for spending your time with me here today. As I say every week, go and be the woman that your future is waiting on. I love that we got to spend this time together. I will see you all next week. Be blessed.